If you're watching this on the Iron Age Instincts, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button right now, because what you're about to get is the kind of material most channels gloss over. Too many videos rush through World War II improvisation as if it were a novelty. It wasn't. For the soldiers, resistance fighters and civilians of that era, improvisation was survival. What kept them alive wasn't just issued gear or clean logistics, it was the ability to turn scrap metal, household tools, and barn floor junk into weapons that actually worked. That's what we're diving into today. For the next few minutes, you and I are going to walk through 5 of the most practical, historically grounded World War II weapon hacks, each based on real field solutions, and how you can apply that knowledge today using everyday items. No theatrics, no fluff, just straight, usable history. The first hack is understanding how the simplest striking tools were elevated beyond their civilian purpose. During World War II, partisans across Eastern Europe frequently modified hammers, farm tools, and workshop equipment into compact defensive weapons. A blacksmith's hammer, for example, wasn't dangerous because it was heavy. It was dangerous because resistance fighters wrapped the handle with layered cloth and tar to create a non-slip surface, then reduced the shaft to make it faster in close quarters. That modification alone turned a routine tool into something that could be wielded with precision in cramped environments. Today, the modern application is straightforward. If you maintain tools at home, a sturdy hammer can be enhanced the same way using grip tape, canvas strips, or even heat-shrunken tubing to stabilize your hold under pressure. World War II taught that control beats brute force every time, and that principle still applies to any home defense tool you legally keep. The second hack is using weighted clubs modelled after trench and resistance designs. In occupied France, Poland and Yugoslavia, resistance groups crafted sap-style weapons by inserting lead, stones or metal bolts into hollow wooden rods or sawn-off chair legs. They sealed the ends with resin or tightly hammered plugs, creating a weapon that delivered severe impact without appearing suspicious before assembly. This wasn't guesswork. These fighters studied the old World War I trench clubs and adapted them to whatever materials they had. If you ever need to reinforce a baton-like tool for lawful home defense, the same method applies. A broken shovel handle or thick dowel can be strengthened by adding compact weight inside the hollow if available, or by securely banding metal along its spine using screws and clamps. The result is a stable defensive tool rooted directly in historical precedent. The third hack comes from how WWII soldiers turned kitchen materials into effective incendiary devices. Legally, we stay within safe historical context here, but the engineering thinking is what matters. Resistance groups didn't always have access to grenades, so they studied combustion, viscosity, and containment. They learned what made flammable mixtures adhere to armour, what kept bottles from shattering prematurely, and why certain wicks burned hotter or slower. You're obviously not manufacturing weapons today, but you can take the core principle, understanding the behaviour of fuels, oils, and household chemicals. That knowledge informs safer storage, emergency fire-starting techniques, and how to choose materials that burn predictably in a crisis. If you've ever needed to start a fire in wet weather, the old WWII trick of using oil-soaked cloth as a long-burning ignition source is still one of the most reliable methods known. The fourth hack is learning how resistance fighters modified everyday cutting tools into serious defensive implements. Think of the sickle, the pruning hook, or the common handsaw. Partisan groups reshaped saw teeth to cut through metal, carved grips into farm sickles for better leverage, and shortened machete-style blades for indoor use. Letter openers, utility knives, and workshop blades were reforged or sharpened to military-grade edges. The principle here is refinement, not reinvention. If you keep utility blades at home, treat them with the same respect. Keep them sharp, clean, and easy to access. And as WWII fighters showed repeatedly, proper sheaths and secure carrying rigs are what make a blade functional under stress. A dull blade was a liability then, and it still is. The fifth hack is understanding how improvised spears and defensive poles were built. In the Pacific theatre and in resistance pockets across Europe, people repurposed broom handles, rake shafts and tent poles into thrusting weapons simply by fitting them with metal tips or bayonet lugs salvaged from the battlefield. Even when a metal spearhead wasn't available, these groups hardened wooden tips through controlled heat exposure, which tightened the grain and increased penetration strength. Today, the useful lesson is reinforcement and reach. If you maintain a long-handled tool for legal home protection, something like a sturdy wooden stick, trekking pole or garden implement, the WWII method of strengthening the tip through sanding, tapering and oil hardening still applies. The point wasn't the weapon itself. The point was leveraging distance, stability and control in small defensive spaces. Everything we've covered comes straight out of the real survival playbook of WWII, where improvisation was a daily necessity, not a side project. Understanding these hacks gives you more than trivia. It shows you how people with fewer resources and harsher conditions engineered practical defensive tools using discipline, technique, and insight. That mindset is the real weapon, and it's something every historian and survival enthusiast should appreciate. If this deep dive helped sharpen your understanding of WWII, improvisation and home defense history, make sure you subscribe to the Iron Age Instincts, drop a comment and share this video with someone who respects real hard-earned knowledge.